Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 20, text number 6. Asamsaktaha sharire asmin amunopadite grehe apatye dravine vapi kaha kuryan mamatam buddha. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. How can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for the bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, similar other bodily productions? Purport. The Vedic ritualistic ceremonies are certainly meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. However, by such activities one does not fully satisfy the Lord. Rather, with the sanction of the Lord, one tries to satisfy one's own senses. In other words, materialists who are especially interested in sense gratification are given permission or license to enjoy sense gratification by executing the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. This is called Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. Vedic performances are based on 3 modes of material nature. Those who are elevated from the material condition are not at all interested in such Vedic performances. Rather, they are interested in the higher duties of transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such devotion service is called Naistragunya. The devotion service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of bodily concept. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears before the sacrificial arena, engaged by Maharaj Prithu, and after the great altercation between him and Indra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu himself came down and made them enter into a truce, Indra and Prithu. In that matter, the Supreme Lord is preaching to Prithu Maharaj to forgive Indra by putting Prithu Maharaj at a higher pedestal, that you are transcendental, you are beyond the bodily concept of life. So, these subject matters of Indra's enviousness of you, all these things are part of the 3 modes of material nature, and therefore you have to forgive him. And in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu himself, appeared before the sacrificial arena and explained, took that opportunity to preach the basics of spiritual realization about Atma, about Paramatma, about time, etc. So this verse says, how can a highly learned person who has absolutely no affinity for bodily conception of life be affected by the bodily conception in regard to house, children, wealth, similar and other bodily productions? So as we all know, the supreme cause of all causes is Krishna, Narayana, and the entire existence is nothing but display of his energies for his purposes. both material energy as well as spiritual energy, the marginal energy, the internal energy of the Lord, the external energy of the Lord. All of them are centered around one personality. He is a cause of all causes. He is a supreme personality of Godhead. And everything in existence is His arrangement. All the jivas in this material world, no one is free. Either they have to follow the dictates of the material energy according to their attitude towards Krishna, or they have to follow the dictates of the external energy or internal energy. So existence is full of unlimited jiva shaktis, unlimited living entities. Here in 84 lakh species, different type of bodies. And this is the arrangement of the Lord for the free living entities. Free means we are free to choose to serve Him or to serve a false self. Either serve myself in the spiritual world by serving Krishna, serve my true self by acting as a servant of Krishna, or I can cover myself, forget myself that I am a servant of Krishna and take up a false ego that I am an independent enjoyer, and then immediately facility is provided for independent enjoyment by this material energy. The material energy is designed to give pleasure to the living entities, but false pleasure, momentary pleasure, temporary pleasure, which are all samples or imitation of the real pleasure in the spiritual world, in the spiritual body. So basically, accepting Krishna consciousness means accepting that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead in the spiritual world and in the material world. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate. Even the material world is all emanating from Him. And everything is moving according to His plan. Ye tamam prapadhyante tam stati bhajamiham. Either with devotion, He reciprocates according to our devotion, or all living entities, even otherwise, they are all following His path. Mama vartmanu vartante manusha sarvasha. All living entities have to fall in the track. You can choose the tracks, but you fall into the track. The tracks are set by the Supreme Lord. One track is to be a good follower of the Vedas, where you follow the injunctions of the Vedas, keeping in mind that I would get this result, that result for my enjoyment, gross and subtle enjoyment. That is one track. They are called karmis. Then there are yogis who want something higher than immediate sense gratification. They want power over the material energy. So they get ashtasiddhis. So they try to rise above the material energy as the kshetrajna, as a knower of the field, without identifying with their body, and try to get control over the three modes of material nature and develop Ashtasiddhis. This is another kind of living entities. Then there are Jnanis who are also, in a way, understood the temporary nature of the enjoyments through three modes of material nature. They are all temporary. My soul is never satisfied with this temporary. I want something permanent. But that permanent, they as jnanis, they are not dependent upon, they are not surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan ma prapadyante. Only those, after many, many years of independent search, where they separate matter and spirit to the power of jnana. Qualities of spirit is different, matter is different. They separate gross body, subtle body, and then they come to a variety-less, nameless, formless, activity-less, but permanent. Once you say something is not changing, automatically it is permanent. So there is an unchanging part of our self, which is called Brahman. And then we come into the material world, then we deal with so many changes. The same Brahman in the spiritual world deals with so many variegatedness. Then there is a zero state where neither material energy variety I want, spiritual variety I want, is a jnani. He is also provided all the facilities by the Supreme Lord seated in the heart. Then there are living entities who want devotional service. They're fed up of this material world. They know that this is meant for this Maya enjoyment. It is not my Surupa to enjoy this Maya enjoyment. My Surupa is to enjoy Satya, Chitta and Ananda in association with Krishna. What all I am trying to enjoy in this material world through three gunas are simply imitation of what is wonderfully available in the spiritual world with Krishna as the center. And therefore, he gives up this so-called prayers, enjoyment. He looks for Uttama Shreyas, the supreme self benefit is to be situated in my original awakened state, beyond this material body, and utilizing this material body as this instrument, even in this body, while in this body, and engaging in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a Supreme Master, surrendering unto Him. And that is, just see, that's another set of living entities. So living entities, God is so kind, Krishna is so kind that He has given us freedom. One more less, karmi, we started with karmi, then there are vikarmis. Today modern world full of vikarmis, because they do karma without reference to scriptures at all. They just do whatever they want in their mind. They create self, like the Sugra karma civilization. Doesn't even fall into any regular karma. Unwanted civilization has been created. Factories, ITs, all these. They're all, in a way, they are vikarmis, because they're not following one of the paths within the Varnashrama Dharma in terms of occupation. They're creating their own occupation, Ugra karma occupation. And even worse than, then there are good vikarmis. They have no reference to Shastras, they live their life, but they are good people. Some conscience is there about sinful activities. They don't want to kill animals, this thing, that. Then there are worse vikarmis who are sinful people, dushkritina. For them also Krishna has created a world. 14 planetary systems are there, not only here. Material life of 3 modes of material nature can happen in the lower planetary systems or in the higher planetary systems. So vast is Krishna's existence. We are all his part and parcel. So all his part and parcels are given that kind of an absolute freedom as far as what they want to be. Do you want to be? It's all choice about being. You want to be a servant of Krishna 24 hours, then you will awaken your real original constitutional being. You want to be a jnani, be a jnani. Material energy will provide you facility. Material energy will reciprocate. I am seated in everybody's heart. I will facilitate your jnanic tendencies. So as it is said here, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies are certainly meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. By such activities, one does not factually satisfy the Lord. It is a compromise. They are still followers of Lord Vishnu. Just like even demigods, they are devotees of Vishnu. They are doing conditional devotion service. They are acting on behalf of Krishna as administrative heads in this material world. But yet they are full of material desires. They are attached to their position. They are attached to everything that they are handling. Unlike the devotees who handle everything on behalf of Krishna, for Krishna, and they are detached from everything, knowing very well that the master of everything, the owner of everything is Krishna. So, directly or indirectly, one has to follow Krishna. When you indirectly follow, you are not directly pleasing him. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who are worshipping the demigods, they also ultimately, I am the one who study the faith, I am the one who receiving it. But not in a way in which it would please him. So the entire material life of different kinds of sense enjoyment from karmi to yogi to jnani to everyone is all self-centered. And largely it is based on the bodily concept of life, especially the karmi life, ritualistic life, bodily concept of life. Jnanis and yogis, they see the weakness. They see the limitation of being in the bodily concept of life. Therefore, they try to rise above. Not because they realize that they are servants of the Supreme Lord. No. They have no concept of God as far as these jnanis are concerned, yogis are concerned. They have no concept of God. They are after getting free from the 3 modes of material nature, becoming free from the senses, by controlling the senses, all that. Want to have a higher taste of Brahman, and yogis higher taste of power over the material energy. But the other class of people, the karmis, vikarmis, especially what is relevant to modern world, they're all completely in the bodily concept of life, which means the living entity, the spirit person, is trapped in misidentifying himself with this temporary body. And this temporary body is like an imitation of the spiritual body. It imitates all the spiritual functions of a spiritual body. So therefore it is very natural and easy to fall for that I am the body. Just like if my specs is always on me, slowly I'll associate my eyes is equal to my specs. Though actually specs is only an instrument similar to my eyes or facilitates my seeing. In the same way, this body is like a specs. It is a yantra which can make us live like in the spiritual world. That means the living entity in the spiritual world desires, thinks, feels, wills, enjoys, loves. All these things are not the property of the matter, they are all properties of the spirit. But all these spirit properties are duplicated in such a way that if I sit in this body, I will start thinking that this is my body. But my spiritual body is spiritual body, but this is a phenomenal body made out of phenomena, not the real body. Just like if you see the mannequins in the shop window, they are meant to imitate real men and women. And then the people are influenced by it, by identifying with it. Oh, if I wear that dress, how nice I'll also look like that. Advertisement. But actually you know that mannequin is not me. It is a copy of a man and a woman. It is a copy. Because it's a copy, I immediately identify. Just like the specs is a copy of my eye, my seeing power. Especially so, I get attached to it when I see its power to help me see and not see. Remove, I don't see. I see. So it gets a property of eyes. So similarly, this body form, the functions of it, the senses, the spirit person, the Brahman, as natural, subtle, karma indriya and jnana indriya. No matter has got karma indriyas and jnana indriyas. Only a person has jnana indriya and karma indriya. And the person is the spirit. My original karma indriya, jnana indriyas are there. But right now, my karma indriya and jnana indriya is acting through this body. Just like right now, my seeing capacity is acting through the specs. But through the specs also, who is seeing? I only am seeing. Similarly, through this bodily concept of life, who is experiencing? I only am experiencing. The experiencer in all cases, bonded life, not bonded life, liberated by it, whatever, their experiencer is only one, that is me. I am the kshetrajna. I am the knower of everything. Maybe by imitation, doesn't matter. But you are the knower of, just like in a movie. You watch a movie and you are feeling pain, pleasure, everything in that movie. But they are all identified pain and pleasure. They are not your real pain and pleasure. Is it not? You switch off the movie, pain, pleasure is all gone. Switch on the movie, you enter the movie by identification. We have got that capacity of imagination. Immediately Sukha Dukkha. But that Sukha Dukkha in the movie is identified Sukha and Dukkha. Just like if this specs falls down and breaks, my eyes are not broken, my specs are broken. And it affects also. A broken spec cannot help you see. So all the more you are convinced that my eyes are gone. Actually, your eyes are not gone. Your eyes are there. Similarly, the spirit person in the spiritual world or in the material world is acting through this material body, which is actually dead. Gross body and subtle body, the yantra is actually has no life. Its lives come because of me who is in this body. So, here Prabhupada says, devotion service to the Lord has nothing to do with the material conception of life. Rest is all nice tragunya. That Trigunya Vishay Vedaha is what we all described earlier, different kinds of living entities trapped in the material world. And then devotion service is called Naistragunya. When we engage in this material world, when we engage in this material body, when we engage in our material mind, intelligence, ego, as an instrument, not me, as an instrument, a very sophisticated instrument. You should not think that it's an instrument, just a gross instrument. No. It's a very sophisticated instrument. Gross and subtle. Panchabhuta, and there is manas, buddhi, ahankara. There is a social ego, then there is a social ego mechanism, then there is for that each ego slice you have a mind, a feeling. For each of these ego you have an intelligence. So that each ego, different kinds of egos are set in our chittam. They act as a robot for the spirit person. Right now, we're conditioned, even in conditioned situation, the soul is active, but active in illusion, active in an illusory story. The soul only is thinking, feeling, willing. The capacity to think, feel and will is that of the soul. But the processing of thinking, feeling and willing is happening in the three gunas. The processing is facilitated by the three gunas. Therefore, prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sharavasa ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. I am knowing that I am doing, but I am not doing really. Just like in the movie, I identify with the character, I can say that I am knowing that I am beating up somebody and taking the rasa. But I am actually not beating up anybody, I am outside the screen. This is a position in which we should train ourselves to execute devotional service. By engaging this yantrudhani maya, which can be either engaged in service of the Supreme Lord, who is also seated in our heart, Rishikesha, or alternatively we can fall into the trap that I am the body and therefore body's interests are my interest and finish. Krishna is forgot. Krishna is not in the picture. To situate oneself in this platform and execute devotion service with these instruments of manas, buddhi, ahankara, all these things is not easy. But with the power of Shravanam, Kirtanam, by the power of chanting and hearing, the holy names of the Lord. This otherwise very difficult to transcend and separate this spirit person from this body persona. We all have to have a feel like I am this body. Because the world sees you as a body. Then somebody goes before Prabhupada, because he is ignorant, he will see him as body. So Prabhupada has to respond as a body only. Yeah, he says, as an old man only he will act. He has to respond. The world treats us as man, woman, young, old. These are social role plays. So either you think I am the role play, or the devotional service can be executed, knowing very well these are all false personas, temporary role plays for serving the Supreme Lord. So false ego means I am this body. Real ego means this body is my instrument. And who am I? I am servant of Krishna. We get trapped. Okay, suppose I say, this is not, what you see is not a rope, it is a snake. No, I'm satisfied. Okay, it is not a snake, but it is something else. It's not a rope, but it is a snake. Okay, understood. Now here you say, you are not the body. Similarly, to get realization, you have to know what you are. Then I understand, I am not the body, I am this. And here is the soul system. I am not the body. Then we have to develop perception of what you are. You are that spirit person who have all the characteristics of a person. In this body, you are not the thoughts, you are not the process of thinking, but you are the thinker. The touch of thinking is only that of the spirit, even though the process of thinking is facilitated in the material nature. The result of that thinking, which is thoughts, it is also part of the material nature. Either that thinking and the thoughts that produce, or the feeling and the feelings that it produces, either they are favorable to awaken your Krishna consciousness by engaging in Krishna conscious thinking, Krishna conscious thoughts, or you want to continue to be forgetful of Krishna, you can think any damn thing. You can engage your yantra for anything. So ultimately, I am giving my thinking, my feeling, my willing, whether it is sense gratification or it is for Krishna. Just like Krishna is preaching to Arjuna, Prakrite Kriyamanani, he has explained, everything is carried out by the three modes of material nature. But then he is preaching to his soul. Do you want to surrender to me? You can do that. If you want to surrender to me, again, you have to fight. Surrender doesn't mean that, you have to fight. And you fight again, already Krishna has told, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasha. Don't think that you are a spirit person. You decide to fight. You decide. Prakriti is the one who executes it. As much as Prakriti that has come into your control. We all have different degrees of Prakriti under our control. A kind of body, a kind of hand, kinds of legs, kind of buddhi. Different kinds of yantra we have. With that yantra, you want to serve the Supreme Lord, or you want to serve the yantra itself by misidentifying. These senses are mine, this sense pleasure is my pleasure. So there is no question of performing Naitraigunya devotional service without standing aloof with this basic, aloof from this material body on the basis of simple education that Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita. All these secrets are given. How this entire yantra works and what I am in this yantra. So we have to start identifying. Let's say you are in the movie. You are stuck in the hero role. There a spiritual teacher comes and tells, look, you are not this. You are not this hero. Then he knows only the movie, no? Then what am I? Am I the villain? No. Everything in the movie is not you. Then what am I? The only way he can preach to him is that, look, your functions, your capacity to think, feel, will, this is adopted by the illusory persona, the hero. That is yours. That experiencing capacity is yours. You are the experiencer of this role play. You are not the role. You are experiencer of this role play. Now wake up. Where are you? Hey, you are outside the movie. Oh really, I am outside the movie. Then how will I wake up? Because I have to see, no? No, you cannot see because movie is in one dimension, you are in a spiritual dimension. You are situated in the spiritual dimension. So you cannot see. You have to see means you have to stop watching this movie. Or within the movie, you have to train your original functions, thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, as you would be doing in your original situation. That is devotion service in practice. That is sadhana bhakti. Morning to evening we are training our consciousness. My own consciousness, my own thinking it is. From perverted thinking to genuine thinking. Genuine feeling, genuine willing. So what happens? This body, mind becomes purified. It acts like a spiritual body. When this body, free from apapavidam, free from all sinful activities, sinful perceptions, sinful thoughts, this body vibrates in the frequency of our spiritual desiring, thinking, feeling, willing. That is the experience of devotional service, pure devotional service. So unless my yantra is pure, yantra functions in a devotional mode. Yantra functions in the mode in which a spiritual body would work. It is not possible for us to wake up our spiritual experience. So therefore, our task, our whole process, yogis have a process, they have a process, our process is to awaken our original consciousness. Awaken my original consciousness means what? Being, desiring, thinking, feeling, willing, doing, experiencing. That's what consciousness is. That's what the spirit person is. That's what every one of us are doing. Being means egoing. One role play here, one role play there, one role play there. A wonderful facility. Even in the spiritual world, you role play in service of Krishna. So it is a quality, it is a very special ability of the soul to take a role and relate and engage with the different people, with different objects. So all that by purification, by engaging with Krishna as the object of all our activities. That is a practice that we are doing. And as long as we go on increasing the percentage, out of 24 hours, maybe 80% you are engaged. If you identify your thinking, your feeling, your willing, everything, it's all for Prabhupada, for Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Then maybe 20% Maya, a false ego, centered basically around I am this body. Because it's not easy to give up this bodily concept of life. Because body needs eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Which definitely you should think that yes, this robot needs, I don't need. This robot needs eating, sleeping, mating, defending in a regulated way. So we manage this robot, as Krishna says, that whether it is, one has to regulate all activities. So everything is given by Krishna. How to? In the Bhagavad Gita. How to come out of this trap of material experience. How to come out of this experience that I am limited to this body. So by regulating our activities, our robot, seeing this body as a robot, one should practice these things. Continuously while serving Krishna, identify as a servant of Krishna, not the body is a servant of. I am the first servant of Krishna and this body is serving me. Who is a servant of Krishna? I am not the body. And then when 24 hours, our mind, by practice, we eliminate the influence of this life that I am this body. And continuously we understand that I am servant of Krishna beyond this body. I am a spirit servant. I am not body substance at all. Even in the spiritual world, I am not body substance at all. I am I. Spiritual body is given by the spiritual energy of the Lord. Just like material energy provides material body, spiritual external body. You have your Shuddha Chitta, you have your internal body, but the external body is with which you interact with everybody else in the spiritual world. That is given by the spiritual energy, which is unlike this material phenomenal body. It is not a phenomenal body. The spiritual body, which is spiritual substance, internal energy of the Lord. There is no duality like in this material world between the body and the spirit. Body's nature is different, spirit's spontaneous nature is different. In the spiritual world, your spiritual body's nature is spontaneously same as your spirit soul's spontaneity. There is no duality there. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate is not only applicable in the spiritual material world when you have a material body. It's an eternal principle. Even in the spiritual world, I engage all my senses in the service of the Lord. So this is a difference between the Vaishnava understanding and the impersonalist Mayavadis. They reduce, they have only one, something which is non-material over. That is absolute truth. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Prabhu. Prabhu, like Krishna's body, Krishna's soul, all are non-different. Similarly, when soul is liberated and when a soul is liberated, devotionally liberated and goes back to spiritual world and serves Lord. So his body and he, whether it is non-different?
They are all spiritual. But the soul is, the spirit soul has a consciousness body. That is called Shuddha Chitta. that Suddha Chitta, according to the nature of the Suddha Chitta, according to rasa of the Suddha Chitta, the spiritual energy, internal energy of the Lord can give different bodies. But there's no difference. They are there when, just like it, very naturally, I don't think I am not the body. Why? Because in the spiritual world, it's like that. Your body is you say. Though actually you can, that body, Prabhupada says, that can take different, same body. Now, this life, this body, next life I want to look different, I have to take another body. But the spiritual body is such that if Suddha Chitta, your bhavana is there, that same external body, that body given by this internal energy of the Lord, will change. There's no death. There's no death there. Even in the material world, ordinary jivas have so much Shakti. Putana had a Shakti to change her demoniac body to a beautiful body, correct? When in the material world, a jiva can do that, why it cannot do in the spiritual world? But it is not according to your whims, it is done in, just like I cannot change my body to another body according to my whims. When the material energy makes me die and then give me another body, so there are laws there governing this. Similarly, there are laws that are governing the spiritual world also, which is all centered around Samvit Shakti, the Sandhini Shakti. The Sandhini Shakti takes care of all these things, existences. What kind of bodies and all these. Sandhini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, Hladini Shakti. These are all, just like the three modes of material nature is a Shakti that is acting upon my consciousness to create Maya consciousness. Similarly, Sandhini, Samvit, they all are acting on behalf of Krishna to bring Krishna consciousness into millions of jivas who are wanting to serve Krishna. So that's why it's called a perverted reflection. They're full of varieties. It's not that this is a world of variety and absolute truth is a world of no variety. Finish, Brahman. No. In fact, that is 3/4 of Lord's manifestation, and this is only 1/4 of Lord's manifestation, material variegatedness. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Only for Krishna, there is no difference absolutely between his body and him. Any body, even incarnation body, even deity body, is called Kaivalya, Kaivalyapati, because he is everything. He can become anything whenever he wants. That's why when he can become the Acharya. He's as good as God. He's become Krishna. All Krishna's full strength can come in the Acharya, through an Acharya. As good as, when you say as good as, just see, that is what it means. Krishna becomes the Acharya. Only Krishna can. Jiva remains Jiva. Acharya's soul remains the eternal servant, pure devotee of the Lord. Just like hand cannot say, I am you. Can I say, I am the hand? I can say. I am the hand, I am the leg, I can say. Similarly, Krishna is Kaivalya, I am everything. Only one. Kaivalya means no two for Krishna. For Jiva, yes, it is there. Adiki.